The red light is on, and you know what that means. It's time for another episode of the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. But we thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, because it is one of those nights where we come off fresh off Crown Jewel. We go into Survivor Series, and good brothers, I must say, I've got more questions than answers, but we will get into it and so much more right after this.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes! What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Oh yeah. Welcome to the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, I'm your host, yours truly, the realness, the real Dwayne Allen. He is your host, Brandon, the guy, and conspicuous by his absence. Brother Hugh has the third is also your host, who will be joining us very, very shortly. H to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R, to the D. Also joining us in the building, the man, the myth, the legend,
Hollywood!
Brian H. Waters are all in the building. You can watch us, all of our Wrestling Wrealm content, anytime on youtube.com/the Wrestling Wrealm. Follow us on all social media platforms, including Instagram, Threads, X. I finally gave in. Facebook at Wrestling Wrealm. Like, subscribe, and engage in a conversation with us. And you can also stream and download all of our audio content on Anchor, Stitcher, Podbean, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. You can watch us and subscribe to our Twitch channel at the Wrestling Wrealm. To support the Wrestling Wrealm and be a part of the brand, head over to WrestlingWrealm.com for all your Wrestling Wrealm merchandise. We have slash prices, we have added product, and pretty soon we will be doing live unboxings of all the nice merchandise that we have. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have mugs. It's definitely hoodie season. So head over to WrestlingWrealm.com to get your Wrestling Wrealm merchandise. Support the brand and be fly, just like the Wrestling Wrealm. We're going to be adding a few more things in the upcoming future as well. But for now, check it out. Let us know what you think. We definitely cut prices. Head over to WrestlingWrealm.com for all your Wrestling Wrealm Now merchandise. Also, subscribe to our Patreon channel for our exclusive shows and bonus material at patreon.com/wrestling_realm. There are things we can't say on the air. I say it every freaking week. Brian H. Waters does an excellent job in writing his thoughts, and he also gives a few comments and concerns about a lot of the different subjects and things that are happening in the world of professional wrestling. But in order to hear those things, you must subscribe to our Patreon channel. Yes, it is new, it is fresh, and we are continuously adding things like Realness Reacts. And we got to have some type of heater report where we start telling these stories of people we've had heat with in the past. That's right. We don't want to go public with it, but you can subscribe 3 different tiers, but you can definitely subscribe for just as low as $1. That is patreon.com/wrestling_realm. Once again, for all exclusive shows and bonus material. If you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com, where you can use promo code Wrestling Wrealm to save yourself $20 off any one-time purchase of $50 or more. Trust me, you want to save yourself as much money as possible, especially in today's economy. So right now, while we're in the thick of football season and we have a lot going on, just wrapped up baseball season, do yourself a favor. We got tickets, we have Christmas plays, we have concerts, we have so much going on right now. If you've never used this promo code, or as Brian H will tell you, just sign up for a new email address. But you didn't hear that from us. Use promo code Wrestling Wrealm, all one word. Don't forget the 2 W's, and save yourself $20 on any tickets, $50 or more, any one-time purchase. Gentlemen, we are gathered here today to discuss our beloved Wrestling Wrealm. And usually this is the part where we discuss what is going on with championship Culture. That's right. The new latest and greatest show, Championship Culture. YouTube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm. Playlist Championship Culture usually comes on every Tuesday, 8 p.m. But guess what? Conspicuous by its absence, we have an announcement to make, Brother Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Season 2.
Yes, sir. So after the conclusion of 25 episodes in season 1, don't worry, we will be back in time for season 2. It's coming. When I tell you it's coming soon, it's coming sooner than what you think. Season 2, you thought season 1 was interesting. Wait till you see some of the things of season 2. And I can offer you this exclusive. You know how sometimes when the new season about to start, and they drop the episode titles. I'm gonna give you episode 1 title of season 2, and I don't know if you're ready for this.
I am. Come on.
Episode 1, season 2 is entitled "Those Wrestling Girls," and that's all I'm gonna say there. That's all I'm gonna say there. That's what episode 1 is. So if that's enough to get you interested, don't you worry. Just wait. If you know anything about those wrestling girls, that's all I'm gonna say. That's what season 2, episode 1 is entitled. And you know what? If you pay attention to Championship Culture, you should know the pattern that we do some things. But season 2 is definitely going to give you another feel in the whole realm of every belt has a story. So stay tuned. If you want to check out the past episodes, go over to youtube.com. There's a whole playlist of just Championship Culture, some live episodes, pre-recorded. Hey, make a comment. We still respond. If it's something that you want to see in season 2, let the brothers know. It's nothing for me and you to argue over and see if we can make it happen for you. Hey, you might even wind up on the show. So check out Championship Culture on youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm.
Ladies and gentlemen, the guy, Brandon, the guy. Hey, can you suggest for the Championship Culture? You say you opened it up for the fans, but
but can I say something for you to suggest? Because he did put it in the comments that I was going to give him a shout out that, I think our main supporter birthday is today. So if everybody gets a chance, especially as you come in the comments, I'll probably be shouting out all night. Our fact checker, our supporter, Brother Dylan Matthews. I hope he got his World Heavyweight title by now. It'd be a nice birthday gift if he got it by now. But happy birthday, Dylan, from not only Championship Culture, but from the Wrestling Wrealm as well. Hope you enjoyed your day. Well, I don't know what time it is. It's probably like 2:00 there, so he's probably in the midst of everything.
He literally just
it's still his birthday over here now.
Yeah, he literally just asked, "Is it still his birthday over here?" So happy birthday to you. Good
sure is, buddy.
Man, I'm definitely looking forward to season 2. Brother Brandon did an excellent job. He said everything right there. He said it's titled "Those Wrestling Girls." You talking about these wrestling girls?
Yeah,
what do we have here?
That might be an exclusive clip for season 2, episode 1. That's all I'm gonna say. If you pay attention to those wrestling girls right there, that might be a sneak peek as to what season 2, episode 1. I should say.
Indeed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are once again listening to the show, I like to transcribe what you're listening to. So, as Brother Guy described episode 1 of season 2 of Championship Culture, entitled "Those Wrestling Girls," I cleverly posted a picture of him taking a picture with those wrestling girls. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, those same wrestling girls, and they're holding something that look like belts. And the crazy part is, it's like they're holding belts with the Belt King. Something's up here. But until then, I guess you're gonna have to wait. Now, brothers, do we want to talk about this moment? Should we talk about this weekend?
I'm gonna say this. How many? Let me ask you this.
Yes,
Brother Dwayne, for the people that can't see the picture, how many belts do you know that have a purple strap? I can only think of one off the top of my head. Can you?
The cruiserweight.
Yes, the original cruiserweight.
And what else?
The Intercontinental.
The one that Dwayne hates. That's what I was hoping he was going to say.
I was purposely going to renege, like not even acknowledge that title. That's how much I hate it. But these purple titles look absolutely gorgeous. They look way better than that one.
Okay.
But yeah. But you guys look like you had a lot of fun this weekend. Shall we talk about it, gentlemen?
Let's jump into it.
It looks like Championship Culture hit the road, didn't they?
Did I miss something? I mean, I didn't know you guys were expanding Championship Culture on the road. That's what it looked like. There's a lot of championship belts in this here picture right here. But I'm looking at a snippet of a recent celebration, the 5th year anniversary of Those Wrestling Girls. this past week of this recording, November 4th, I believe it was.
Yep.
And we have an absolutely gorgeous photo op of all these beautiful people holding these beautiful championship belts. Brothers, did you guys enjoy yourself this weekend?
Shout out to King Letty for getting that photo done. Queen PR's twin sister. She came to me during the show and said, "Hey, you want me to take photos?" I said, "Well, have at it." And she did a good job. But yeah, it was a great time. Being up there, being able to celebrate with them. They never saw it coming. The funny part was if you check out the stream, which is available on their show, on their channel, Krista B once again, when we gonna get our championship belts? When we gonna get our championship belts? And I'm sitting there like, and then as he unscripted, just as he should, the guy says, "But you didn't talk to me." And so she goes, "Well, we're gonna talk after this because we ain't get our belts." So when the moment happened, just like the guy called it, Krista B was in tears as the belts was unveiled. It was a great time. You saw Brother Brandon coming out of his show. That's what we as especially as he was breaking down the details and the belts. Tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday, they're going to really go into details about how they felt about him and everything they met. Like Queen PR hasn't even taken it out of the bag since the anniversary because she said it'll make her overwhelmed again. So she said on Fan Club tonight that she's going to bring him out tomorrow. But yeah, it was great to see Brother Brandon. He was the man up there in New York. You know how it is, but because people was asking about belts. So I think we're gonna see a new rendition of championship culture, an expansion of the brand, might I add.
Congratulations once again to Krista B, Queen PR, even CN Doll. She's right there in the photo. And also to Brian H as well as Justin Rich, all those who are associated with the brand of those wrestling girls and celebrating their 5th year anniversary. It looks like you guys had I was sorry that I missed it, but you had a really, really fun time. And goodness gracious, they're like a belt invasion. But of course, what other way would the belting have it be fresh off of championship culture?
I think one of the best moments was when Queen PR's mom was holding the belt.
Oh wow.
And she talked about how much she loved the surprise of everything. She was like, I'm glad it held off until I got there. So when she saw the surprise of the belt unveiling, and she was like, "Man, this thing is heavy." I said, "Yeah." And she was like, "Mom, can you hold my belt?" She was like, "Okay, I can't," So that part was fun. And then shout out to Noah when the Colton show, which y'all can catch Brother Hugh and Brother Brandon on coming up soon. Because like I said, they was making rounds. And when Queen PR was getting interviewed, shout out to Noah, he was the wise man. So he was holding the belt, standing next to us. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of shenanigans. But people showed out and showed love. So it was a good time in Brooklyn on Saturday night. Great way to have a lot of fun to have after Crown Jewel, might I add.
Yeah, definitely, because we have to get into Crown Jewel, by the way. But it seemed like it was the perfect storm of that weekend for Crown Jewel to fall on the same day as the anniversary. So I'm sure you guys had an excellent time. Speaking of shenanigans, I think one of the funniest parts I enjoyed was when Brian Nix. I went back and watched it on. So I was fishing for clips, and Brian Nix got excited. He snatched off the veil, and they disappeared. I was like, "This is a magic act," but then they magically appeared, and he picked him back up, and he held him up victoriously and handed them off. And
bro, let me tell you. So shout out to Mike Nisho Soul, the guy who produces their theme music. Any other time, Queen PR, Krista B, they get settled in a spot, right? So Brother Hugh and Brother Brandon hadn't gotten there yet. So I'm sitting up there trying to set up everything. So I got the big bag, and the whole time the belts was in the back of the trunk. And I took them out of the box, put them in the belt case, and I said, "Mike, come here." And I said, "Look," because nobody, like, only person who knew outside of us was Stiendo. Nobody else knew. So like Justin didn't know, Pablo, Christina, they didn't know. So I said, "Mike, hold this curtain up." So the lady from the place, she had a thing because I told her what was going to happen. So he pulled out, so we wrapped them. And I forgot when I went over there that they were wrapped and tucked. So when I went to pull the the cloth off. That's when it felt. And I was already like in my head, I had what I was going to say, and let alone whatever. Just Twitter people who were there had another thought, but no. And I'm like, wait a minute. I drew a blank.
I can't wait to hit this button when you finish. Go ahead.
So I drew a blank, and I was just like, yeah, ladies. And so Krista B, we had already planned that I was going to do a speech.
I remember hearing about that.
But she didn't know what was coming. So then she goes, now ain't the time for that. And we was already had a little bit of heat just because of the production stuff wasn't happening as fast as I wanted it to. And she goes, now ain't the time for that. I said, oh no, yes it is. And so Letty's like, no, let him go. Just let him go. Cause she done put her homeboy, she's like, they get him. So she was like, I don't know what's happening. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, drawing a blank. And that's when I said, y'all know I love y'all, right? Yeah, y'all know I love y'all, right? And I said, I got a gift. And then I was like, oh shoot, it fell. And so I'm hoping in my head that they don't see what it is just yet. So it happened so fast. And I said, did you know? No, she's like, I just didn't know what it was. It was the last thing expected. So that's when I, showed them, because I wanted to like pull it out and they see it, but it was able to get done. And then Brandon was right there to, give the explanation. And, just like the true professional that brother Brandon is, he had the crowd in the palm of his hand as he explained what they all meant.
Oh man.
So something really, and this is the thing I'm gonna tell you about this, because it was so funny because, I don't like a lot of attention.
Sure,
so we were there.
That's why I did it.
I got my two. Look, I got my two belts. I got the Intergalactic title, the black strap version tag belts, right?
Set up on tables like you thought Black WrestleFest was something.
Oh wow,
bro!
So I done as soon as he would get there, and he was wearing his belt on one over his shoulder, like he the most important person in there. Especially he got this white sweatshirt on that's screaming championship culture at you, right? So I'm just looking like I'm his bodyguard, like I'm his heavy with this sweatshirt on, walking behind, right? So everybody started gravitating towards him, and I'm noticing people like, oh, can I touch it? Oh, can I see it? And I'm like this. I feel like the attention is off of us. So I was like, let's take these back to the car. And they were like, no, keep them. Leave them. It's a wrestling event. I'm like, okay. So as the night go along, I'm looking at them like this. Everything's I'm like,
just looking.
Okay, the belt's still there. Yep. And then all the time I see Brian's belt walk past, I said, who's taking Brian's belt? Wait a minute. I said, you don't see this? And I'm just like, wait a minute. Somebody got my belt around their waist walking through the club. I'm like, wait a minute. These people are like owning it. And I was like, you know what? Just let them have their moment.
I knew where my belts was at all times because that was
I kept seeing it.
Yeah, because Pete, shout out to Ciendo's little brother. We met last year and Pete does some he'll give some music for post-production stuff. So, and he's heavy in the tech. He was with Kofi Kingston at one of them tech conferences. So he was like, yo, can I hold the belt? I said, yeah, bro, go ahead. This joint heavy. So you want to hold it. So him and his homeboy Nesto, they both we was on AEW together. So I was like, all right, y'all cool. I know
everybody's taking pictures with it. You see people with selfies. I'm like, and I kept seeing with somebody belt around us. I'm like this. I was like, oh, where they going? Oh, they going that way. Okay.
When you see what it means and you see people walking around with it and taking pictures, that's what make you smile because you see how happy it makes them.
Sure. That's what
and then
belts
I saw pictures
do.
on Instagram. I said, oh, there's our belts. Oh, look, there's our belts.
Yeah, so, they know how it feels, buddy. Just look up and see your championship just somewhere else. Over somebody else's shoulder.
I think that's what he said too during one of them shows he was doing because Brandon was making his media rounds. And he said that, if the real Dwayne Allen didn't come pick it up, his belt would have been right here too.
I would have one with a black backing.
Bro, can you imagine where the gimmick would be now if I had yet to get this gorgeous tag team title? Who knows where they would have been spacing back. But I'm glad you guys had a good time. Like I said, fresh off the weekend of Crown Jewel, which is kind of the focal point of what we talk about. But we're going to also talk about it in terms of
Dang,
Dylan
The
it's
Road to
still
Belgium?
Survivor
got his
Series.
belt.
What does it say?
He's
It's
still
in
got his
Belgium.
belt.
Oh wow, it
Aw.
says in Belgium. First of
Yo,
all,
get
you talking
Dylan
about
his belt. UPS
come on,
or DHL, whoever.
DHL,
Get Dylan.
DHL's international. I
WWE,
believe.
get that man his belt. Everybody else in the world's got that belt. Y'all forgetting about.
Yeah,
Don't
because
he got to
I've
have
seen
it
a lot
before
of
Elimination
unboxings.
Chamber?
He's got to have
But
it before that. Okay, come on, he's
Dylan, you
got to
going
have
to
it.
Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, Dylan, you going to Australia? Is it Perth, Australia, or was it?
Yep, you hit it right on the
Okay,
head.
all right. See,
You
my
know
memory's still
WWE
good.
trying to teach us geography now. They're not saying state, just countries. They're giving
No,
us
no
the
doubt.
cities.
That's very. I appreciate them caring about my education. But speaking
Yo,
of geography,
hold on. You brought up something. I got to bring this up.
uh-oh.
I revealed this today earlier. We talked about. Oh, he says it's a 6-hour flight. Okay, I mean that's like going from here to LA, so I can get it. I was talking earlier how wrestling gave us, you talk about education. I learned the word bogus because of WWE. You want to know how?
How's that?
Shawn Michaels. He taught me the word bogus when he said Razor Ramon had a bogus belt during the whole
Wow.
IC title,
Oh, yes.
leading into WrestleMania 10.
How astute of them.
Pandemonium.
SAT
That was
word.
another word I learned. Shout out to Vince McMahon.
See, we can say
one
his
of my
name
favorite
quick.
phrases was "Blue Hell." Remember?
What
Rock
in the
said
blue?
that.
Yeah.
That was so.
That's
That's
the
three
show.
words. It just became a good catchphrase. I was like, that and Canaanites. I know
Canaanite.
brother he would appreciate that. I was
Yeah.
like, Canaanite. And when the Rock face we heard, I was like, yep.
SmackDown.
Speaking of SmackDown and Kane, gentlemen, we're adding segments to the show so we can start making some money. But it's time for What Did You Watch? Sponsored by you all. Whoever wants to sponsor the Wrestling Wrealm now, we are adding segments, and they will be paid
Not
segments.
supposed to be you all.
So, speaking of Kane and all this retro activity, gentlemen, what did you guys watch this week? Let me go first because I got to get this off my chest. I have been watching, I don't know why, but I've been really, ever since Sting has announced his retirement, I have been obsessed with the idea of Sting. I want to say shout out to TNA Wrestling because it's a real thing now. Like, it's not a joke anymore. For reviving Sting's career. I'm not a fan of like the Joker Sting and everything that kind of happened after that. But if you look at the first good chunk of Sting's first run in TNA, just pure blood, black and white Sting. Man, I was like, man, this stuff still holds up, even at his age. I don't know if he's in his 40s or 50s at the time, but Sting looked good, man. And working part-time on a platform like TNA Wrestling is it suits him good because he's in his 60s now and he still looks the same, except he doesn't wear ring gear anymore. He just comes out in like khaki pants and a shirt. But it's okay. He's still Sting. But that's what I watched this week. I watched a lot of Sting clips, specifically TNA Wrestling Sting early years. What did you brothers get into this week? What did you watch?
So, Brian, fact check me. The Survivor Series with Shane McMahon on SmackDown and Triple H on Raw. That was 2017, right? Because that was the same year with Brock Lesnar and AJ, right?
Oh, sorry, yo. Dylan at it again.
Dylan.
It's the comments. It's the comments, ladies and gentlemen.
No, Dylan is in my WhatsApp with Jib's video.
Oh shoot, bro!
Dylan's
Oh snap! Hey, yo, check my brother out. Look at him.
Hey,
You're watching the show.
Oh, that's your model. Look, that's your model.
You're right. That's what I was gonna say.
That's your model.
And Jay, are you still watching the show? He might have logged off by now. I don't know. I can't tell.
What did Dylan do?
No, I think he just said it too. I said it. But you said 2017.
Dylan? Was it 2017, right?
Which one? That's when Shane came back.
Yeah, that was Shane was the SmackDown general manager, and which color was the Raw because that's the one that we had. I put in Survivor Series since we're getting ready for it because that seemed like out of the big four, that's the one that I remember the least, the least amount of matches. So when I saw that, I forgot how much fun it was because we got Bobby Roode and Triple H, Shinsuke and Triple H squaring off in the ring. I was like, I remember Shinsuke had his moment that I'm that guy, and he was going through and then got eliminated after he went through everybody.
Oh.
But that promo package, that's when I started to really, I don't want to say, I really wasn't a Brock Lesnar fan, but I appreciated the fact that AJ felt like, remember the whole promo with the song, and they were saying about how he is the phenomenal one and he's never faced anybody like me. That match build-up had of WrestleMania feel to it. And I was like, I forgot how good the build up in the match actually. I won't say paved the way, but that's why the following year we had Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. I cared so much about it because I was like, oh, Brock can actually work with the young guys.
Work with younger guys. Yep.
Here for the, I won't say younger, smaller guys. He was not here for the paycheck. And the other thing on that show that really kind of, those were the highs, and then the low. I was like, man, I don't miss Ronda Rousey. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, shots fired already.
So, but anyway, I couldn't remember the year because I was like, it was the first thing that popped up when I was searching Survivor Series. I was like, oh yeah, this little gem, this hidden one, and of course, the next one popped up. I didn't finish watching it all because I was just getting through the, you know how they do the story of each match, the NXT Survivor Series, and I was like, man, I gotta say this one another time because this one was so good.
Yeah. What about you, Brother Brian? What did you get into this week?
Today I was watching Fall Brawl 95, but not what you would think. I was watching a couple matches that caught my attention because after watching NXT, I wanted to look at some Brian Pillman. So I watched this match with Johnny B. Bad that went into like overtime. World television title, opened the show, and I watched Ric Flair versus Arn Anderson. And that match, I was like, this is a good match. It's solid. This is the whole Flair story against Arn Anderson, luring Sting back, turning on Sting. But this is the beginning of that story where Pillman kicks him in the back of the head and, you know, he wins. And that sets up for him to need Sting. And Sting said, if you screw me, I'm going to screw you, all that. But yeah, I was in the WCW rabbit hole a little bit.
All right. There's nothing wrong with that.
I was going to say, there's some hidden gems in there too.
Man, look, they got
there's a lot of hidden gems. There's a lot of hidden gems in WCW. Now that doesn't mean there ain't some. Never mind. Okay.
You're in the punch, bro, brother.
All right, yeah. Come on, Macho Man. Let us have it.
Did WCW have a perfect year?
Yeah, 96.
96?
Well, 97.
I was going to say 97, but
yeah, 97 is probably more accurate. Yeah, like 96 was like the punch in the face.
But see, I think it's a combination of them. The end of 96 and beginning of 97.
Because that's when the NWO jumped off, and it was hitting, like they were hitting on all cylinders at that point until, like I said, that famous 83 weeks.
But you could also make the argument, and the end of 97 was still solid. I mean, it literally, the last match, quote unquote, last pay-per-view match of the year may have sucked with Sting and Hogan, which I ain't gonna lie, I didn't realize it was that bad until the internet told me so. Because it had because it had moments, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You think the entrances, that stare down in the beginning, then the end, you know. So it's like, forget the wrestling, like, yeah, wrestling is what it is, but at the end of the day, Sting won the match. He was held up high. That's a moment. So it wasn't until digging in dirt sheets and articles and blogs like, oh, it sucked and it didn't live up to the hype, you know. But I would think that's one that they still got the money.
WCW is full of that, though. To be honest with you, it's you know it more for the moments than the actual, sometimes the full wrestling show. So that's a 100% completely accurate statement that you made. And and you're right. As kids, you don't pay it any mind, but you go back in adult. Like, I tell you, my favorite example is NWO Wolfpack. I didn't realize everybody hated it so much. I'm like, wait, what? It was the worst thing that happened. There was the death blow. I'm like, wait, hold. I love the Wolfpack. What happened? What did I miss? But it's different when you look at stuff from the perspective of a kid, just kind of taking whatever they give you and not really overthinking it, versus, you know, being kind of older and being around the block, kind of like how we do now when we got all that. We were very critical about stuff, and everybody goes, I miss the good old days when Edge and Batista. You like, who? That's the forgettable era.
Do you watch the NWO Wolfpack now and say it sucked, or you still watch it from that 10-year-old kid who enjoyed it?
That's a very good question. I don't watch it in tow. I watch it in moments, right? Same thing. Like, I it's very rare you catch me say, let me watch this full pay-per-view. What I'll do is I'll see a match or two, and then I look at the match card. I'm like, oh, no, that's actually tough. I'm going to watch this whole thing. I think I did that with Halloween Havoc 97, I believe. And I saw, you know, one of the matches randomly on YouTube, on WWE YouTube page, and they give you the full match. And I looked it up on Stupid Peacock, and I was like, oh, no, I'm going to watch this whole thing. And it was really that good, like from start to finish. And
so that's That's the issue with AEW. Exactly what you described. Take WCW out and put AEW into it.
Yeah, and then
Like,
take away
truthfully.
all the recognizable names. Like at least WCW had like household names. Like AEW just has like wrestling fan, and
Yeah.
you know niche wrestlers. But you know,
And they have great moments. They have a
but
lot of moments.
you watch the Wolfpack when you watch the segments. You still in your 10-year-old.
yeah, for the most part. Like isn't I don't I'm telling you, I haven't gone back and watched it and be like, oh, this sucks now. I got I don't. As long as I see my guys, bro, I'm not tripping. I look at K Dog. I'm like, no, he's still doing K Dog stuff. I'm watching Kevin Nash. He's still doing Kevin Nash. I'm like, with everybody. I think people hate the result that came from it more than what they actually did. I'm like, what was the? Oh, it's not real anymore. I'm like, well, I didn't experience the NWO from start to finish anyway. I came into it like, yo, what is going on? You ever? It's like walking into a party and everybody's tripping out. You're like, bro, what did I just walk into? Everybody's having a good time, and you trying to figure out why. That's how it was with NWO. I didn't see. I didn't watch Hogan show up and turn on him. I heard about it. By the time I turned the TV on, Hogan's got a beard. It's black. Macho Man, everybody's in the ring, got these black and white, and they're all hitting two sweets. And I'm like, bro, what's this? What's going on? And then Sting. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Sting. And then I'm watching it like, wait a minute, what's going on? What's up with Sting? He's not wearing the paint on his face, and I gotta come back next week. I'm spending the whole week trying to figure out what's going on because there's no rewind. We didn't tape it. There's no on demand. There's no YouTube. I'm just trying to go to bookstores at a grocery store. Mom, we gotta go to the store. Trying to go whatever magazine aisle I can find to try to catch up. You know what it's like to try to catch up on wrestling on like 6 years of wrestling in like 20 minutes worth of grocery store time. It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. This is the struggle we had to deal with. So and then I'm going
flipping through every magazine.
Bro, I'm like, and back then, brother, it was like 6 of them. See, it got down to like maybe 1 or 2 now, but back then it was like, I swear to goodness, they was like, you know how they have tabloids? That's how wrestling magazines were at one point, especially during that time. I'm going through everything. I'm like, oh, it's time to go. I'm like, dang, don't you got go get some peas or something? Nope, time to go.
So you fell into my trap because now you see how I feel about WrestleMania 9, but also.
Well, I know how you feel about it. It just sucks, though.
but also, so now this is interesting because I didn't realize you didn't see it from start to finish. So when did you like? So what happened? Where was the gap for you in WCW? Because obviously this isn't your first time watching WCW.
No, yeah.
So where did you like fall off and then hop back in?
I fell off around. See, the crazy part is I was always watching some version of it. I just didn't.
Okay.
It was just wrestling to me, right? Nice. And I give you an example. It's because WCW had the same guys from WWF, so I didn't pay any mind a lot of times, right? So how I kept up with my wrestling was Saturday morning, Saturday nights. It was WCW Worldwide, and 10 o'clock it was Live Wire, WWF. That's how I kept up with the new generation. That's how I met Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because he was on there all the time for whatever reason. And it seemed like every week it was the same matchup. Savio Vega versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. But then you would turn to WCW and you would see all these characters that I wasn't too familiar with. I just knew him as, okay, you might see Savage every once in a while. It was just wrestling. And then Saturday night, my brother would put it on. My dad would put it on. And it was just wrestling. So I was always familiar.
The story.
No, I didn't keep up with any of that stuff. I didn't know anything about that until... It literally, I'm telling you, it was the reawakening of my soul of wrestling was in school. I'm telling you, this is story time to realness. I come home. I was in elementary school. My brother was in middle school. And one of my brother's friends that did all out, our moms were like friends because they all came up together in elementary school. And they all went to the same middle school. So they would carpool. And my brother's friend, he had a younger brother that was younger than me. His name was Ryan, and me and him were the little brothers of the group. And his mom's dropping them off when they get out the car. And I said, they're too sweet and like this. Everybody's like this, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm looking around. I'm like, then I get up to the porch. I'm like the Bob, what is this? What do you guys? What's that thing? And he's being a jerk. He's like, oh, it's nothing. It's just this thing. And I'm like, nah, it's clearly not nothing because I'm seeing you guys do like this with your hands are too sweet. But then the little brother's doing it too. I'm like, wait a minute, Ryan's a little brother. How does he know what this? I thought it maybe was a middle school thing. Later that night, literally that night, my brother turns on wrestling. And I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I'm watching it and it's not making sense to me because I'm seeing all new stuff, but I'm exposed to people that I had witnessed maybe a month or two ago, because a month or two ago I just went to a sleepover when Nintendo 64 was, and we played the game WCW versus NWO World Tour, and I'm seeing characters that I see on the game. First, one of the characters I remember seeing was Rey Mysterio Jr., because he had the Spider-Man mask in WCW. I'm seeing Hulk Hogan, I'm seeing Ultimo Dragon, I'm seeing Chris Benoit, because that's when I saw his name on the game, that's how I pronounced it. He turns on wrestling that Monday, and there these guys are. I'm like, oh snap! Wait a minute, it's the game we was just playing. We watched WCW's NWO sold out that day, and I'm seeing, like, I'm literally watching the pay-per-view, flipping, like, going crazy, and then literally we're watching every Monday, watching WCW, and I'm just like, just hooked. And Wolfpack is coming out there. I'm like, yo, Diesel and Razor Ramon is here, and Macho Man is here, and I'm seeing Virgil and all these other people. And mind you, I didn't already watch the hour of the show, and I'm seeing Juventud Guerrero, I'm seeing Rey Mysterio. Like, oh, that's Rey Mysterio, that's Chris. I'm seeing Booker T, Fit Finley, and I was just like, and then every once in a while, my brother will flip to Raw, and I'm like, bro, turn this off. This looks fake, because it wasn't live. So the camera quality from Monday Night Raw and WCW was completely different. Them turner broadcast cameras were different. And I'm sitting there watching, like, this looks like it's this phone. This is fake. Turn this off. And then DX came out. Then I was like, wait a minute. I don't know about WWE, but I like these guys. I'm like, okay, man. I don't really watch WWE. I watch WCW, but I like DX. I was like, who's that? He's like, it's DX. I'm like, who's DX? Who's DX? I'm like, I don't know who DX guys are, but these X guys are cool to me. And that's how I got. And literally, I just had to catch on. Like, literally, it was such a year difference. Like, I remember when Deborah debuted in 1998, and my same buddy, their dad, who was also one of the carpool parents, was like, oh, you don't remember Deborah in WCW? She was a queen in WCW with Jeff Jarrett. And I'm like, I don't remember her that, because during that 97 period, I don't remember what that date was when I first started watching it, where I picked up. Because I didn't see it from start to finish. I just kind of jumped in the middle somewhere. I didn't know what it was. But,
oh man,
so when she showed up as Deborah, I was like, I didn't remember it. But then, you go back and watch it, and like, oh snap, Jeff Jarrett was there. But I do remember when Jeff Jarrett re-showed up in WWF, it's because his outfit wasn't white anymore. It was silver. He had a grittier look, and he was beefing with X-Pac. And before you know it, I heard X-Pac peed in his boots. Jeff Jarrett popped the cameraman, and before you know it, Jeff Jarrett cut his hair, and Deborah.
Yes, they shaved SummerSlam.
The rest is history. So that's my history of where I jumped into the whole NWO situation. So that's why the NWO Wolfpack didn't bother. And plus, it was the hip hop version of it all. Like, NWO Black and White was getting corny because, Hogan was Hogan. But then, like, you had that B team that was doing all the heavy lifting at one point. It was the Scott Nortons and Virgil and Vincent, Conan, and
Big Bubba Rogers,
Buff Bagwell. Yeah, he was in it, but he, by this time he was, I don't know, I mean, because he was there for a minute. He was in NWO, he gets kicked out of the NWO. He's off beef with the NWO, and then he's off TV.
Yeah, it was like, we don't care about you beefing with the NWO, dog.
No, so like when when the Wolfpack kind of debuted, I was there for that. I remember when you would watch WCW at that time, and the music would hit, and you didn't know which one it was, because there was no Titantrons in WCW, so you just had to wait, see what color came out from the back, and then eventually Wolfpack got their music, and I was like, oh yeah, it's a wrap, bro. I guess Wolfpack for life.
Yeah,
then I'm grown, and all of a sudden everybody says it's a bad idea. But go ahead.
Right, yeah, I was gonna say, like, even when I talked to my god brother Michael, he's like, yo, wait, what? Because he don't watch wrestling no more or keep up with the dirt sheets. He'll look at clips and stuff, but I was like, yeah, they said it was bad, and it was bad. He said, man, shoot, this Wolfpack for life still. Like, he's still talking about getting the he's like, I had the NWO shirt on at his daughter's party. He's like, bro, I'm getting the red one. So it's like, for us, like, you had to be there, Yeah. This is, and I always had to say it. I don't argue wrestling. Like, I'm not gonna argue with about Bret Hart and his promo skills with anybody born after 92, because you had to be there. like it's certain things I'm just not gonna argue with. I know Stephanie Hardy was like, I was born in 92 or 93. Sorry, Stephanie. Whatever year you said you was born in. But I'm like, I'm not arguing with y'all, because you had to, like, a lot of stuff you just had to experience. You had to experience
that's the truth.
The Monday Night Wars changing the channel. It's like we had a conversation with somebody a long time ago. If you couldn't experience the real Attitude Era, the real war, I'm not arguing with you about this.
No. Like you would have your remote right here. You would have your remote, and you would purposely have it on the last button. So that's all you had to push. Like you would go. For me, it was like it was 09 and 31. 31 was TNT, 09 was USA. And you would just flip like that away. You had to just hit the button, hit the back button over and over again. And that's how you would
Did you ever record
that.
it? Like, so one time I was at my grandmother's house, and you can see when I was changing the channels, because if you hook the VCR up to the cable box, it's going to record whatever the cable box is showing. So like when I would go back and watch it, I was like, oh yeah, this is when I changed the channel. You know,
I think my dad was like a lucky bootlegger, because I didn't know how to record stuff at the time, but he used to like hook the camcorder up to the VCR somehow, and he would put a blank tape in it. And I was like, and to me, so when he said you not record, I stayed away from it until I got a little bit older, and I was like, oh wait a minute, if I just put this blank tape in VCR, and I was recording over home videos, I had to stop.
Ooh.
Yep, got caught. So, but yeah, that you had to be there.
Yeah, man.
See, that's a wonderful thing. Brother Brandon was 27 years old during that time, but it's okay. I just wanted to see if you were paying attention, brother. But were you paying attention to Crown Jewel as we prepare? I wrote to SummerSlam Survivor Series. Where am I right now? What year is it? Crown Jewel. This is where we are right now, and I think we're ready to get going. Brian H, ring the bell. There it is. Crown Jewel, good brothers. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I heard they made about $50 million off the show.
I thought that's what Roman was getting.
Oh shoot! Listen. Who knows?
I'm
that
joking.
Might be true though. Don't joke, because I look. They got. First of all, Saudi Arabia is absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful place. It looked like everybody has obviously huge wrestling town, but this year's Crown Jewel was different from last year's Crown Jewel. It was inside, I think, for obvious reasons. Due to a little bit of political upheaval and stuff going on in the world. But what did you guys think? It was a little testy. What did you guys think of this year's Crown Jewel?
Crazy tweet.
I'm afraid to ask what it says. Nope, I'm not gonna ask.
It says Wade Keller says the CW was willing to offer the NWA an 8-figure deal, and we thought Tyrus as the champion was the biggest botch in wrestling history.
Oh man. Wow.
Oh, smoked it up.
Here, well, let's just talk about it now. Well, let's put that on pause. NXT. It's moving to the CW in 2024. We'll get back to Crown Jewel. There's plenty to talk about when it comes to that, but let's start here. I know Brian just wanted to bring this up earlier. He wanted to bring it to the attention, but let's talk about this now. Brian H, Brother Brandon, we're all business and television majors. So we're familiar with television, and we're familiar with business practices. NXT back to the CW 2024 off of Fox, USA, as I believe SmackDown is moving back to USA, and there's a little bit of discrepancy going on. I know that as Brian has just kind of alluded to, there's a NWA is looking like the laughing stock of the television wrestling community, because apparently there was a rumored deal on the table. And for some reason, it fell through. But WWE, of course, pick up the pieces. And now NXT will be back to broadcast television 2024.
No, you know why it fell through.
Yeah, well, you know that the long arm of professional wrestling. Brother Brandon, how do you feel about NXT coming back to broadcast television? Now CW, I asked you for a reason, because CW is your place. CW is where all your DC shows. Yeah, that's right.
It used to live, but that's what I was going to say. CW has such a niche of programming to the point that you knew the target audience and the target demographic. All of the superhero shows, I think, have now ended, except for Superman and Lois, but because of the writer's strike, that's been kind of delayed. I believe that's the only one that's
which is over by now, by the way.
Yeah, I'm saying, but it would have been debuting. We would have been watching some of the episodes now. But if you go on the CW streaming app, it's
which
houses. Yes, it houses a lot of great content, and it's pretty much free. You literally just sign on and
It's definitely
That's
free
it.
for the most part.
Yeah,
Yeah, I enjoy it.
it's a few ads here and there, but it's not like every 3 seconds you got to add. But I think with the CW, it's going to give a ROH type of feel like we used to get it on Sinclair Broadcasting, where
Okay,
everybody can view it. But I know that if you look at the product that they've been given, it's
hmm
not appealing to the old wrestling fan, but it's
sure.
appealing to this is a cool wrestling. Let me go watch this. Let me check this out and see what a Tiffany Stratton is doing, what a Braun Breaker is doing. But oh wait, who's this Dominic Mysterio guy? Oh, he's Ray's son. Oh, okay. Who's why do I care about these? It's going to give you character development just like a CW show, because like
Mm.
when you look at CW shows, that's what it really was about. Like,
True.
who even knew that Sabrina the Teenage Witch was in Archie comics? I didn't know that until the
Ah,
CW put it in your face, and I was like, she was. And then they did a crossover. Major events that they would do, they would cross over a lot of the shows that were connected. And let's be honest, some of the actors from the CW have crossed into wrestling and vice versa. So why not?
the most famous one being Stephen Amell.
Yep.
Brian H., you brought this to
Adam
our
Copeland,
attention for a very reason.
Cody
Adam
Rhodes,
Copeland. There you go. Cody
Cody
Rhodes.
Rhodes, and
You brought
let's
this.
go back to
I'm about to say, is there more?
Oh, there's one. But go ahead. Go ahead with your point. I think it's a
No.
good thing. I didn't expect it because I kind of written the CW off when they went
I was
from
thinking
all
that's what I was
superheroes to no
confused.
superheroes.
Yeah, I was confused. Listen, they got live action superheroes now. They going old school.
Mm-hmm.
Brian H.,
Mhm.
what appeals to you the most about this concept? Like I said, I don't want to say it came from left field because I just might be out of the loop. But I always assumed it was just a bidding war between maybe USA or maybe some other type of streaming network. I know Hulu still, I believe they still air the NXT product on their programming, but Hulu is also kind of like connected to some of these like television studios. So there's certain deals involved. But how do you feel about, or what do you think about NXT moving to CW, back to broadcast TV?
I'm very excited. There's always gonna be a soft spot for me for wrestling on broadcast television.
Of course.
Somebody who didn't have cable in their room.
Yep.
So it's like
That leveled the playing field for a lot of us.
yeah, man, SmackDown. Because like, he not here yet, but I
Mhm.
always had to depend on for me to find out what happened on Raw. It was going to
Mhm.
school Monday, bothering brother Hugh, and especially
Yeah.
like in 7th and 8th grade, I literally sat right behind him. So it was always like, yo, so what happened? We actually got in trouble a couple times for that. Because we couldn't
Those
whisper.
wrestling guys.
Yeah, pretty much. So that was the thing. It was just like, yo, but SmackDown, yeah, I was in the conversation. I was leading those conversations, and now it's like when SmackDown went to Fox. Granted, everybody pretty much like cable or something. It was like still a big deal. I remember one time
Mhm.
one of my best friend Trika, she works down at the bar downtown, and I was like, yo, let me go down and get some food. I was like, hey, can you turn one of these TVs to SmackDown? And she did. So, but being able to see that, it was exciting. Way more homes.
Mhm.
If you look at the press release, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the press release, but Nick Khan was like, the excitement of being in millions of homes. It's a bigger audience, potential bigger audience.
Oh wow. See, I didn't even take
Uh,
all that into perspective.
Yeah, potential bigger audience because of it's network television.
Mhm.
They made sure they made people aware that this is where the established stars came from. That
Sure.
being Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, and Roman Reigns.
Mhm.
And I said this earlier. You may think we thought about the NXT WrestleMania, right?
Mhm.
And we was like, oh, they putting a dagger in Tony Khan. He wanted to
Sure.
talk,
They
but
embarrassed
the
him.
whole time that was also an audition
Mm.
for the CW.
Okay.
And whatever mine is like, look, at any given time on this network, we could pull in a John Cena, an Undertaker. You need to pop a rating, or
Mhm.
you want shock factors. Boom, we got them coming here. So that's what I'm excited about. It's always cool to see, and the reason why I definitely was excited because I knew that I knew that y'all watch more of the stuff on there than I ever did. The only thing I watch on CW right now is All American.
Sure.
I was watching WoW when Sahara Spars Amber Rodriguez was on there, but now that she's retired, I tune into WoW here and there. But you know, I was also thinking like the crossover appeal, crossover shows. I can see Spencer James showing up on NXT in the crowd. I can see Carmelo Hayes looks like a college student or a recent college grad. Him and Trick Williams showing up on All American, being as
yeah.
being
That's what I said about the
homecoming.
crossover. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
so
I see that with those NXT. Can you imagine Chase U just making a appearance on any CW show with their
yeah,
Chase U stuff on? Or not
Sure.
only that, think about the promos that they could do for check out NXT on whatever night it's going to be on. But you know how they do the promos with all the characters from each show, and they all
Right.
just come together. It's like the new home, welcome to the new
Look.
home type of deal.
bring my girl Samantha Logan from All American, have her appear on NXT. Just put her in the front crowd. You know, it's a lot of
Right.
stuff. That's what's going to be really exciting about this. And it's anytime wrestling moves to a new channel, I personally think it's exciting because you get to see how they block it.
Sure. Yeah.
I know what Inside the NFL is a part of the CW network, so that's going to be interesting. NFL is king when it comes to sports. That's the one thing we always say, the 4-letter NFL is king. So if you can get close to that NFL spot, that's going to be huge, because if you're leading into the NFL show, that means you better have a strong closer. Or if you're coming out of the NFL show, you better have a strong opener. And I think with Shawn Michaels leading the charge, you're starting to see the dramatics.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely
Look at they've been I'm telling you, they've been building this.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing about WWE. We could think it's going to be this way, whole time is this way. And
Brooks
without
and Jenner going to be on Walker. They're going to be special guests. I was like, they were the first time that fit.
right. And we in for a ride, man. 2024.
Because I think Supernatural closed, right? They finished Supernatural. That was their longest running show, right?
I'm not sure, but I'll tell you this. People always want to say, oh, so and so shouldn't go to NXT. If they, PWI insiders saying it could be in a $30 million range.
Wow.
So per year, that's more money for talent.
True.
Well, Ospreay,
and more earning potential. Earning potential. Think about it. If you get a lucrative contract for that.
I know. Yeah.
People like Will Ospreay and Julia, who could be, upcoming free agents. NXT wouldn't be such a bad idea as they continue to build and make the brand stronger, because you can get them. Look, we're gonna give you more money and we're gonna get you in front of a bigger audience. You'll get the Raw SmackDown.
I got a question for you too. Is this the gateway for the NXT brand to branch off to the Europe, to the Japan, Australia? Is this a way for it to branch off?
I think it is. It's because I don't know how much of a global audience CW is going to like translate to, but anytime you're talking about putting more eyes on a product, you're talking about millions of viewers from home, and I think it opens up all those doors, to be honest with you, just because, like you said, Brian H said it. These are all test runs for the next thing. So I didn't even pay any attention, but they were like, no, that episode with we're gonna build around this young talent, but we're also gonna bring these familiar faces, and they kind of like validated this young talent. So people go, oh, okay, that guy just got chokeslammed by the Undertaker. I'm cool with him. Like, oh, that was pretty cool. Carmelo Hayes, who's this guy that dabbed up Undertaker? Okay, he looks like me. You know what I mean? They were all I didn't even see it that way, but I was like, oh, you know what? When I look back at it, I'm like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe this was a test run. And I feel like this is probably going to be the test run for that, that kind of global expansion at the end of the day. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing, people in those areas that they're trying to appeal to show up on NXT all of a sudden. And, you get these new characters that kind of cater to these, to those demographics and those places that they're trying to expand to. So,
because who can say that with the CW streaming service, we don't see, like, not necessarily taken from Peacock, but we don't see all of NXT UK available on the streaming service, because that could be a way to say, they can see how many people actually stream it. You know,
Right.
like when you click on Netflix, you like the number one streaming thing, or like you go on Amazon, number one is this. You put that on there, and it's the top of the screen. The new hot thing. What exactly is NXT? That's not WWE. And make it
Right.
like its own brand. You can say, "Oh, this is NXT UK," and then if they get enough views on it, yep, we got a platform for it, or not. Because look at what the CW does with the shows. They put other shows on there that you're like, oh, I can go back and watch this. I can watch all of that and watch at your leisure.
And that's also to that same point that we don't know what CW is planning as this. I don't know if it's going to be like maybe a reboot or they're trying to use this audience and platform to kind of spearhead everything else. Is because when SmackDown was on like My Network TV, which was I don't want to call it a lower end quality broadcast, but it was just broadcast TV.
It was free TV.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. That's how I got into stuff like 2.5 Men, is because it was a leader. It was the follow-up. Like where SmackDown goes off, before I could change the channel, 2.5 minutes on before you know it, I was like, oh wow, the show's really, really funny. And there may be some shows they may be trying to bring back, whether they have syndication deals or whatever the case may be, to say, okay, well shoot, we have an audience now. Let's give them, something familiar to it. Or I know at one point, Heels was trying to get, trying to shop for a new network television, for their show, they're not on Showtime. I don't know if that show might be a little bit too risque for broadcast television, you know what I mean? But it also depends on the timing, because nowadays you can do and say anything on TV as long as it's after 11 o'clock. So honestly, I don't know.
It could work, honestly. That's a good point. It could work because it's not as bad. The thing is, they just got to cover up the ladies, but it's not happening.
Heels?
Yeah, it's not all the time.
I didn't know Heels was that risque.
Well, it's on Showtime. You know what that means.
Yeah, and it was more so in the first season and the second season. He's trying to get the show over. So,
gotcha.
Trying to get the show over. You know what that means.
but
that always
about wrestling.
That can always go to. So I'm not sure, because there's so many networks. Y'all gonna laugh. You know what I mean? Who's the parent company? Who owns it? Who's
Yep.
And I know at one point CW, the reason they got rid of the superheroes was because the parent company didn't want that type of programming, and that's why HBO Max had to make that shift. Is the CW? That's what I'm trying to say. Are they
first? Is it Warner Brothers?
Is it Warner Brothers that overarches all of them?
See, I
can't remember who's the. Which way to go.
UPN merged with somebody else. They became
UPN
and WB. Oh, see, there you go.
Okay. Nexstar is the ones that wanted to shift the programming, right?
Okay, yeah.
I guess. Yeah, it says Nexstar Media Group and Paramount Global are the parent organizations of the CW.
But I think Nexstar was the one that purchased the CW. That's when the shift of we don't want the superhero genre anymore, and that's where a lot of stuff started being canceled.
Sure.
And that because the superheroes are just as prominent as wrestling. Like 5 days a week, you can watch almost 7 days a week. You can watch every day. I think, but Saturday you can watch a superhero show.
Yeah, it definitely was that way at one point. No.
It was every day, but I'm sorry, no, not on Friday. Friday and Saturday were only 2 days. I think you couldn't watch one. Because Tuesdays and Wednesdays was that big days.
Yeah,
true. Well, speaking of big days, they had a big day on November 4th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. As we shift back to Crown Jewel, we had to address NXT.
Segue.
NXT.
My bad. I saw that tweet. It was a wrap.
No, it's all good. No, it's like it's your show. You can do what you want, buddy. Crown Jewel. Let's talk about the match card. You guys didn't really say whether you liked the card or not. Because I got a lot of mixed, not feelings, but mixed reviews about the show. And I found myself like a typical wrestling fan, not paying attention. And I had to remember to keep these type of pay-per-views in its proper place and perspective and not look at it. I let the presentation throw me off. And I'm like, no, I can't let that happen. You can't let the presentation convince you that the show is more than what it was meant to be. And there's these, I call them to be continued pay-per-views, where it's like, this is just meant to move a story along. That's what I felt about Crown Jewel. But the match card itself had Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre for the for the World Heavyweight Championship. Rhea Ripley in a fatal 5-way with the rest of the ladies for WWE for the Women's World Championship. The rest of the ladies, because it was 10 of them in there. Solo Sikoa and against John Cena in the biggest match of his career. Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair, Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest, Roman Reigns versus LA Knight for the WWE Undisputed Universal Galactic Thanos Michael Jackson's Estate Championship. I thought of everything that might be a lot. So yeah, but what do you guys think about the pay-per-view overall? And there's a few moments that I want to kind of highlight so we don't spend a whole lot of time. Because surprisingly, we're gonna wrap this up as we get on our road to Survivor Series. But there's one thing in particular we have to address. But what do you guys think about the show overall, this year's Crown Jewel?
Let me just give you two things that I liked.
There we go. Here we go.
Solo Sikoa destroying John Cena. Because I thought that's exactly what it should happen.
John Cena knew the writer's strike was coming to an end.
and Solo is a made man.
Big time.
And he's the guy that if I'm saying who's up next up as the take down the tribal chief.
Oh, so you going too far now.
Yeah, after he passes this guy.
What about Goon Tai?
Oh,
see, there you go. Yes, I finally did what Brother Brandon does. I said something to make you change your mind and make you think about something versus what you already thought about in the first place.
That would be solid. That would actually be cold. So yeah. Give me that first. But
yeah, he changed his mind.
And then Kyrie Sane, the comeback, because just when you got all the answers, they changed the questions.
They're doing that lately. That's
her comeback. I was like, wait a minute. Bailey looked confused. Bailey looked real confused. She was like, wait a minute. I don't know. And we could be seeing in War Games. You can pencil in women match, etc. Right? What better way for that to be destroying damage control? Because after all, Kyrie Sane could be like, look, Bailey been mistreating you. She don't really believe in you. You the champion, but she walking around carrying herself like she the champ. Well, so it's so much right there. And then you still got the Bianca of it all. So I tell you that that right there, that moment, I liked it. I didn't like how that's just me being picky.
It was flat.
Yeah, the finish. Like her getting thrown in the ring and then hitting, like, come on, bro. Like, just catch her off guard, knock her out or something. You know what I mean?
Something more, a little more dramatic.
Yeah, it felt like you got to get that spot in. They ain't making no sense to me. But other than that, because like you're not gonna get thrown in the ring and just lay flat. But other than that, I like that. Those are my two favorite things. Everything else was just like, kind of expected it.
Sure. In your house pay-per-view on steroids, but the legal kind back in the 80s, not the illegal kind. Anyway, Brother Brandon, what were your thoughts on this year's Crown Jewel?
Similar to what Brian said, I can think of a couple things. Like, I hate to say this because y'all gonna know my reference. Why is Logan Paul giving me Young Bucks feeling of ROH?
Okay.
We wanted him to mess with like, I should hate you, but I can't because you're so good. And the
Brian
fact
H.
that every match with Logan Paul, I'm just saying every match with Logan Paul, like I want to be like, I don't want to watch him. I'm like, he's just that good.
He is.
And
how?
Like,
he doesn't do this full
we
time.
knew that was typical that he was going to win, but I'm like, why is he so good? Like, I don't understand. Like, what did he do? What has he done in his spare time to get so fluid with it? You know what I mean? Like he makes me feel like he's been a wrestler for more than 2 years now.
That's how he comes off. That's how he presents himself.
But not only that, his in-ring work is just like, I don't want to say flawless. The stuff that he does, I'm like, man, you should be botching, but you're not. And the fact that everybody's highlighting he saved Rey Mysterio, that's just he just got the intuition. It's shoot, let me save him, because guess what? I'm not gonna be the one to say I ruined a legend. You know what I mean? Like, he definitely saved him, in the fact of how he caught him and put his knee down. Like, nope, you ain't gonna fall. I got you. I'd rather risk my shoulder being jacked up than you messing up your neck.
And I know that goes a lot for the boys in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got probably all of the respect. Like, you know what? You're good.
And it's ring. Like, you saved the legend. Like, oh yeah, because that could have ended like early.
That could have ended his career or his life.
Ask Sabu. Remember that?
Spot. I think Logan Paul, somebody like you say, got respect in the back. I think he's probably a nice guy.
Sure.
And he's probably like very respectable and all that. It's probably the reason why people don't mind working with him. You think about it, this dude worked with Roman Reigns a year ago to the day, main evented the show. If he would have, you know, right, and they're not gonna keep. They don't care who you are. They're not, you know, a solid locker room is most important. So they're not gonna keep bringing you back, putting you in the ring with legends. If you're not,
I wouldn't be surprised if it came out that he had his own wrestling ring and they were flying wrestlers to him to help train him.
They had to be though. They had to be. There's no way he just gets up and just be like, "All right, I'm gonna go run the ropes."
I'll go to Performance Center for a week and I'm good. No, I'm pretty sure somebody.
Curtis Axel or somebody has been working him.
Yeah,
Hurricane. Somebody they've been working him over. Like, they're like, "Don't come to TV this week."
I like that right there because he Ricochet owed him a get back.
But no, they were on Raw. Logan Paul is a free agent technically.
Yeah, so he can come and go as he pleases.
I mean, Dwayne brought up Solo becoming Intercontinental Champion. Boom, switch.
They've done that before.
Yeah, they have this. That's how we wound up with Gunther on Raw. But I'm just saying, like that was one of the highlights. Of course, Kyrie being back was another one. I just hate, and I don't want to say this because I don't know if his dust is like becoming like smoke. Stop with just the person appearing. You know what I mean? Like it was like Kyrie's just there. He did the same thing with Nick Aldis. Oh, by the way, he's the general manager. You're like,
you definitely just
no music, no door. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, where's the payback?
It's this guy. You're like, what?
Like Ivy Niles is in the ring already. Like, oh, look, she's there. You know, and I'm not saying everybody got to have a big music pyro presentation, but it was like, she's back, and it was like, oh, that's Kyrie Sane. You know, and I was like, okay, cool. And the only other moment that really, I like the fact that what they're doing with Rhea, but I don't like the fact either because that was a women's showcase match. Let's just say what it is. The fact that women are in that space, her entrance, people who didn't understand, but it's the simple fact that I want to call her the Eradicator because I think she surpassed that. She's just calling Rhea Ripley. Like she's just, when she commands the attention in a different way. Like how Jade Cargill, you look at her and be like, that's a superstar. You look at Rhea like she's a badass wrestler. And sorry about the language, but she just looks like she's like, yep, everybody's going to watch me. And the match was literally a showcase for women's wrestling over there because so many different styles, so many different spots. And it was like, I'm okay with it now, yet again. And I sent you the clip, Dwayne. I really think that I love Seth Rollins, but I don't want to say his gimmick is getting stale, but I'm starting to feel like the clip I said, I feel like I'm rooting for the other person more than I'm rooting for Seth.
Yeah, I
in all of his title matches.
Yeah, it was like that where I wanted Shinsuke to win and I wanted Drew to win. And I'll ask you, I'll segue into this because I had a few questions for you guys. I want to get your 2 cents on it. Like I said, we're almost done. We're gonna wrap this up soon. But do we finally get Drew McIntyre turning heel? To me, this is like a slow burn. Like he's been getting more and more frustrated. I'm noticing his behavior change, and I'm saying to myself, is it time for Drew to finally turn heel?
1,000%.
Or is he already there? Because he looks. I'm like, yo, he's had enough.
Yeah.
Or does he morph into that? Does he morph into like? And I'm not saying icon legend of Undertaker, but how Undertaker could be heel or face, but you just wanted to see him. Like you knew you were going to either cheer or boo him depending on who he was wrestling, but you wanted to see him. Drew's in that space that people still want to see him. We still going back. I'm like, we get it. They appealed to our human side when he said, oh, I'm not coming to save everybody. Now it's a problem. Why can't I do what's for me? Sure. And people didn't boo. They were like, well, he got a point now. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. Drew McIntyre looks like he belongs to be a champion. But you say you think it's time, Brian?
Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time for him to turn heel. Man, it's crazy because it's like you got Damian Priest penciled in. Let's call it what it is, right? But you could have.
Or do you? I'm gonna ask that later on. Or do you?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Things have changed. Cause then I'm looking at him like, bro, I don't want to say he's lost momentum, but I just think it has shifted elsewhere.
Yes,
it's yeah, y'all not wrong. It's kind of making me want to go back and look at some other briefcase holders and see, because like you, it's different, yeah. Because he shouldn't. Because like when Daniel Bryan had the briefcase, right?
Sure.
You remember he went on like a losing streak, but
Yeah,
that was
remember we were
essentially
pissed, bro. Remember that?
yeah, and it was essentially so he
Lost the
could beat
United
all
States
those people.
Championship.
So now you say something. It don't look like that with Priest. That's almost Otis levels.
I mean,
I was going to compare. It's
oh shit, I
Otis.
forgot. I
It's
forgot
gonna be
he actually
Otis.
won that.
Yep. Remember, he won it by accident because that was the same year Oscar overshadowed him because that was that
Pandemic,
match. They was all wrestling. It was like, Otis, really? He's gonna be world champion? This gimmicky
I was
guy.
pissed. I wanted to be AJ Styles, and they joined dropped and I said, "Come on, bro."
Vince
But
loved Otis.
He did, but see, and that was also that awkward pandemic
Yeah.
where you didn't know what was going on.
It was
and how
throwing
they were
stuff
gonna
at the
do it.
wall.
Yeah, like we're on the same roof. We got to be creative. There's nobody
Oscar,
here.
keep dancing.
Yeah, just
and put this black thing on your stomach. Cover you up.
yeah, but yeah, I think I think it's only a matter of time before we see like the extent of, because you look at Drew, he looks like he belongs to be a champion. He can't just keep walking around there for long, being like a lone drifter.
Speaking of lone drifters,
ladies and gentlemen,
what's up, Gumps?
We'd like to welcome to the show,
the king
Brother
of the
Hugh has entered the building. Brother
by the time
Hugh,
you came to work,
mind your business.
listen,
Mind your business.
I'm glad you are here, man, because now we can get your 2 cents on Crown Jewel. We're actually wrapping up with Crown Jewel, and we're going to talk about the kind of this slow road to Survivor Series, because it'll be here before you know it.
War games.
But
War games.
I like the Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce is.
You want to play games?
I liked it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he wasn't regal," but shoot, I thought Scrap Daddy did his thing.
Scrap Daddy was tapping into his old
Scrap Iron. I'm so happy
Give me the mic.
he gets a run as a WWE character, because he has earned it.
Yes.
You know, you talking about that guy was the booker for Ring of Honor at one point while working weekends and being the NWA champion. This was before before he got brought out, you know, by
he paid his dues.
Yeah, big time. So now, you know, he was, you know, I remember he showing up on TV.
Leave him alone, man. Leave Adam alone.
Thank you, Brother Hugh. Thank you. There's always the grace and mercy.
The Gumps got to stick together. You're right. Y'all Gumps stick together.
Hey, y'all go. They come in here fighting. There you go. That's what's welcome, man. That's your welcome to the show, Brother Hugh. But,
coming from the biggest Gump of all.
Drew McIntyre.
I was knighted a Gump by the King of the Gumps. But continue. Drew McIntyre turned heel.
This is a good time for week. I'm also adding a new segment to the show because we need sponsorships. So, Brother Hugh, I'm glad you're here.
Yes, sir.
We have a new segment coming to the show. Well, each week we're just gonna highlight it. We're just gonna turn it into a segment. We kind of always talk about it, but we're just gonna break it down so we can give people an opportunity to sponsor our show. So I call this segment "Good for Business or Bad for Business," sponsored by you. So if you out there, you want to sponsor the Wrestling Wrealm, we have a spot for you to highlight your show and get a paid ad right here for the Good for Business, Bad for Business segment. We just finished talking about Crown Jewel. We talked about Logan Paul. Now we discussed his prowess. We discussed his ability to work in the ring and his chemistry with seemingly everybody he has gotten in the ring with, as far as the delivery on the microphone, his ability to work inside the ring. A lot of people feel some type of way about, once again, what is considered to be a part-timer, even though, you know, he's a superstar. So there's leverage to his schedule. You know, it's no different than Roman or anybody else's. But how do you feel about Logan Paul being the athlete? Because he's not and social. He's an athlete, social media juggernaut, as well as a professional wrestler, becoming the United States champion and kind of representing the WWE brand as champion going forward. How do you is it good for business or is it bad for business, and why?
Man, it's great for business.
Oh wow, so that's a different. We got it great. Please do tell.
Yeah, it's great for business. He elevates the wrestling industry to another stratosphere. Like it.
Excellent point.
Like he's like you said, he's a megastar. He's a superstar, a YouTube sensation. Came through, so he's bringing more eyes to the product. More sponsorships are coming. You know, Prime and everything else that he brings, and plus the cross branding with the boxing that he does and everything else that he does. It's great for business. It just brings more money, more eyes to the industry or to the product.
Yeah,
And
that's
plus,
always
it's better to see the belt on him as opposed to Rey Mysterio. No disrespect, but I mean Rey Mysterio is you know how I feel about him.
We've been trying to send him home.
I would
for
say I
about
think
a
you just
year
kind of
now.
disrespected him. I didn't know you had heat with Rey Mysterio, brother. Did I miss something?
Nah, I'm just tired of seeing him.
Okay. That's fair enough. He's been around
Like
for five decades.
He gonna approach you while
he can still go,
next
but it's
year.
just
You're like, hey
I'm
man,
down on him. Like, hey, what's up, little man? How you doing?
Are you talking to me, crazy man? What's up, brother? You man? As a third, I heard you were cool, man. What's up? Sorry, I thought he was going to approach you, but I mean, I get it.
Nah, but
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go
No, go
finish.
ahead. I was gonna say I was about to say I love him and all, but I mean it's just hang it up, bro. Like go ahead.
Into that point, I think that's I know Brian is just talking about how he's not always a fan. Was it you, brother Brad? Which one of you guys? Okay, we're saying you guys aren't the biggest fan of these super long title reigns, which I understand, but it's like the benefit of it is by the time it's time for them to drop the title, you're kind of ready for the next guy to come along. And I don't think too many people were visibly disappointed in Rey Mysterio dropping the title to
But
Logan
let me
Paul.
say this about a title reign.
Yes, sir.
No, you're gonna talk about that Prime vs. Woo energy drink first.
Oh wow!
So when we talk about long title reigns, it's the problem I have with them is that when you have superstars, we're in the industry that they're fighting for that title, right? That's how you establish I made it, I'm that person, childhood dreams, whatever you want to say. And then you got people like, let's just look at Raw. Yes, Gunther has a dominant run, but how many more people would we like to see that strap on and see what they can do with
nobody
in a Continental title? Of course,
none.
That's why I said that. But look at the United States title. We hated on Austin Theory. We're like, okay, Ray got it, but we wanted Santos to get it. We wanted LA Knight to get it, but we're like, okay, Logan Paul has it. It's going to be something different. All right, we don't like Logan Paul, but we're okay with it.
No, y'all
so
don't
like
Logan Paul.
So is it good for business or bad for business, brother Brandon?
It's great for business. Remember, I said I was expecting him to win Money in the Bank just so he could go around and do media runs and be like, look, I'm got a guaranteed title shot for whatever title I want.
Yeah,
now he gonna go around and say, I'm a WWE champion, great boxing this wrestling this match. I'm about to go in this boxing match with the title coming to the ring.
He done called out Bad Bunny.
Oh,
see, that's what I was waiting for.
I don't think you can do that. Is he ready for that to carry a match? Usually it's one wrestler, one celebrity. You know what I mean? One guy. It's like
they can have a gimmick match.
I think the match would be better because I think they put in the work. It's just going to be it's going to be
too much life insurance on the line.
That's true.
It's got to be a multi-match or something.
But you know how Sean Triple H and Stephanie McMahon versus Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey look like the most rehearsed match ever. That's going to be that match. Yes,
I enjoyed that match.
No, it was good, but
it looked predictable.
Because you gotta figure, as good as Kurt Angle is, it's been a while since he had been in like the WWE ring, right? Sure, and then Triple H is obviously like, commander in chief in that. But this is Ronda Rousey's first match. So that match was like they probably wrestled that match 30 times before they went out there.
To get down to the second, because you could tell if something wasn't right. It's like, hold on, that's not next. It's like you were dancing, like you knew.
And they were both like the characters were strong enough that the crowd wouldn't change them, right? So like if it would have been, you wouldn't have had no Rock and Hogan situation where it's like, oh shoot, they done switched up. We got to change this whole thing, or even Brett and Owen at WrestleMania 10. So I think with Bad Bunny and Logan Paul, that's the thing. That's why I think it would be a good match. I think they would rehearse it. They would get down pat. You go. I mean, you got all those producers in the back. They're gonna make sure,
Sure. No, I just so good for business, bad for business, Brian H.
Great for business. Okay. Like we talked about the YouTube alone. His social media following being bigger than WWE somehow, some way. The kids love him. Why not?
No,
how many people gonna buy that belt because of him?
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm waiting to see if he's going to have custom side plates. Like that's what I'm waiting for to see.
He's having side plates.
No, I'm saying so that way we can see how many more belt sales they're going to have based upon him. He's going to wear that around his waist probably everywhere that he goes.
Do you think it's going to be prime side plates?
I think Logan Paul. Well, no, he calls himself the Maverick. It's going to be him jumping. That little image that he got.
Oh, that little Firebird thing.
Yeah, it's going to be probably that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
Because I checked
mhm.
his social media. I mean, his YouTube. There's nothing on there with him with the belt. And
Yet.
yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
looking to see. Even something. Yeah, I don't see
Right.
anything on there.
And for SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, good point. They probably. Oh Lord, he won't be on the Grayson Waller effect.
The
Congratulations,
reason
mate.
why it probably won't be
What
on
is-
Prime because of the C4 deal.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
probably
Oh,
won't have Prime side
okay.
place, because C4. Which
he
I
gonna
can't
have
find the WWE C4 here.
It's okay.
All
We're
of
not
it's gonna
missing
make your kidneys explode. So that's okay.
That is true.
anything. I hate you.
So with
Mhm.
that being said, brother, what do you think about Crown Jewel overall? I know you kind of, I don't want to leave you out, but I know the brothers, they were pretty solid on it. Did, like I say, kept it in perspective. But what was your take about Crown Jewel overall? Did you feel like it did what it's meant to do? Did you feel like it maybe left you more questions than answers? How did you feel about it?
Bro, it did what it was supposed to do. It ran numbers,
Yeah,
and everybody got what they wanted to see. The
sure.
major thing that I loved about it was
Mhm.
Kyrie thing.
Yeah,
I was talking to brother Brandon about that. Man, when she came out, we went crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was the best part of the show for me.
No, tell him the moment that we tell him it.
Yeah, y'all was watching together, right?
Oh,
On
that's
the
right.
road?
Yeah, we was on the road. Gotcha.
He had his iPad, and I'm driving, and I look over. I say, "Who's that? Is that? Oh, that's my girl." Oh, and I forgot for a minute I was driving, and he was like, "Oh, that's Kyrie. Oh, that's Kyrie." I forgot I was driving for that moment because I was like, then
Wow.
I was like, "What did I say? The elbow?" And it was, "Oh, the elbow." I was
Right.
like,
Oh, it's my girl. Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that one. That'd have been like, you
Yeah.
sitting there watching the iPad, like, wait a minute.
because he was holding the iPad on his lap trying to watch it and show me while I'm driving, and I'm like, "Oh, what?" I said, and the first time I was like, "Why Dakota got all red?" Oh, that's not Dakota. I was like, "Oh, that's."
Right.
Oh man, it was yes, definitely. That would have made it that much more better for me. I probably would have enjoyed it that much more if I got to see freaking Brandon mark out over his girl. Because as soon as she came back, he was like, "Oh yeah, because my girl's back." I said, "I already know, bro. I knew what it was." As soon as I saw,
But
I
you
didn't
the
recognize
elbow.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't recognize it. I was like, "Oh, the Pirate Princess," but I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. Like, it's like a 2005 pirate, not like old school pirate." Really was. But
Yeah,
what's
he definitely went off when she, when he saw who it was. I forgot all about that. Yeah, he swerved a little bit. I was like, hold on now. But she's
He
back.
tightened
I'm
the
good.
seatbelt. He tightened the
Was y'all
seatbelt
at
a
least
little bit
on
more.
the turnpike?
I'm not sure.
I think I was at that was the point I was hitting 80 miles per hour. So
we
got
should have put GoPros in the front of your car like they did on a ride along. So we could have
Right.
that. That would have been great. Sheesh.
and then Bailey, like Dylan said, Bailey's face
Yep.
Yeah,
was shoot.
that's
the
sold
one
it,
I
though.
took out.
It was perfect. Exactly. That's what sold it. It was perfect.
Because at first I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh snap, they got new member damage control," but then I was like, "Wait a minute." Bailey looked like she wasn't expecting to see that, but Io was more than happy to see her, and I was like,
But remember,
something's
Io was
up.
what you call it? Bailey is the reason that Kyrie was written off TV.
Ooh, that's unfinished
Oh, you
business.
forgot that, didn't you? You
I
forgot
did.
that. But
I didn't even.
yeah,
I
remember,
was like, "Oh, wait a
he was
minute."
beating her up backstage, and that's when Oscar lost her belt because she went to go save her.
Oh boy, the plot thickens.
That's why Bailey. That's
There
why
it
Bailey
is.
was looking like, "Oh shoot."
Like, oh, I hope she doesn't
You ain't got
remember
Mercedes.
yet.
That's why I said Bailey gonna need friends soon because everybody gonna leave her.
I don't know if it was Brian H or you, Brandon. My fault that had me under the impression that Sasha Banks might be making a return soon. I don't know who gave me that. Somebody's talking about. Was it you, brother Brandon?
Me and you were talking, on our
Okay,
2-hour
so
conversation.
yeah, because he was like, "Oh, because her contract is." I was like, "Wait, what? Wait a minute." I was like, "Oh yeah, she's really. I don't think she signed no long term deals with anybody. And I know she's
No,
injured
okay.
right now, trying to recover." And we were talking about, well, Triple H is in charge now fully, and she knows that. Her issue was
And
with
she only did New York Comic Con lately.
she's been quiet once again. Brother Brandon's causing these thought provoking situations where you have to rethink the situation. But Crown Jewel was exactly what was expected to be. It sounds like it went over okay. It was the people in Rita Saudi Arabia really enjoyed it. Huge wrestling audience. It came across great on TV. But I guess the last question of the night that I have for you, good brothers, is what's next for LA Knight? He went into this match with Roman Reigns. This was just an introduction match to say let's get you associated with main event scene. Let's let the people know that you are at least worthy to be in a ring with our main event player, our megastar, which is a good thing. It's because it shows that you belong in a conversation. And for LA Knight, this is his season to be in a conversation. He's not meant to be the guy. He's not meant to be up next, anything like that. But he's a contender, and sometimes that's as big of a deal as actually winning the title, because everybody's not meant to win the title. But if you're meant to be a contender and you're in that conversation, it does well for your career and whoever else you work with going forward. And it seems to me that's what they were trying to do with LA. Now, I never for 1 minute thought like, oh, this could be it. But I knew why they did what they did. But the question is, what is next for LA Knight? Where does he go from here? Like you lost to the top draw of the company. I can't imagine you getting a rematch. Roman only wrestles 8 dates a year.
That's true.
He's on that Brock Lesnar schedule.
So he already did 7 of them. So he got
his
one more in New York show.
Right.
So here we go. Here we go.
In order to stay relevant, what do you guys think is up next for LA Knight?
Like what Dylan said, move that man to Raw.
I think that would be the death of LA Knight.
Wasn't he already on Raw, or was he always on? He was on SmackDown.
He was on SmackDown.
He was Maxine Dupree. I mean, he was Maxine Dupree.
Right.
I mean, Max Dupree. I call him Maxine.
That's his key fake sister.
I think he has an issue with Jimmy. Jimmy cost him, so I think he's gonna be dealing with that, dealing with the bloodline issues, or dealing with Jimmy and Solo by himself.
So he joins the war against the bloodline.
Pretty much.
That's where I was going with it. Like he already fought Solo, right? In singles, man.
Yeah, but yeah, he did.
Not Solo that beat John Cena. See, Solo gonna be a different man. Right, he's gonna be a different man.
Because now he done joined the Honor White team. Like now it's like they say when you're a Raven, you're not a Raven until you beat the Steelers.
Sure,
it's like you're not in the bloodline until you beat John Cena.
Well,
but that's next for him. That's definitely what's next for him. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that's still talking about U.S. title, but he doesn't need that right now. Logan Paul needs to hold it for a little while.
Yeah, he's got to do a couple of media stops first.
He got to box first. He got to go into a boxing match first with the belt.
With the belt, yeah. Crossover appeal.
TKO is probably loving that. Like, go ahead, match him in the ring. In the crowd for a UFC fight.
If he loses, he's gonna say, "I still lose my United States Championships, and this is all that matters anyway." Because technically, WWE's bigger than boxing, regardless. Like, yeah, I might have lost that fight, but I ain't lose this championship.
Back in the day, though, he would have dropped that belt.
Yeah, that's what happened when they said the fight between was it Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas? Mike Tyson was originally supposed to be the special guest referee for some type of thing, but he lost
SummerSlam.
Was it SummerSlam?
Yeah, with Zeus and Macho Man against Brutus Beefcake, and they went with Buster Douglas.
They said he won, so they were like, "I think who's where did I get that story from? It might have been Bruce Pritchard? Yeah. What was I thinking? But yeah, so as Crown Jewel wraps up, man, we're like, where are we at now? We are in like almost in the middle of we're still at the early middle parts of November, and the Survivor Series is around the corner, and so far we have War Games kind of set up for Survivor Series, which makes sense, and I think it'll make the holiday season fun for one of the former traditional big pay-per-views for the WWE. And there's a lot of potential opportunities and matchups that we could possibly see. And they really haven't said too much about it now, but I know they will in the upcoming days and weeks or so on and so forth. But good brothers, is there anything in particular outside of the War Games match that you would like to see come to Survivor Series? I know we're on the road to Survivor Series, and I know there's going to be this slight build to it, but anything you expect to see, anything you would like to see this year for Survivor Series besides the War Games match?
Oh, I was going to say women's War Game match.
I want to see.
Okay.
Right.
Brother,
I'd like to see Brandon's favorite superstar. What we talking about?
The song rhymes with boop boop boo wah su boo doo wee. I'm not saying the words. I'm saying it rhymes with that.
I was just I was just about to say that. Like I was about to say, Brandon's favorite superstar, CM Gump coming through. You know, I heard it
Brandon, you got to quiet over there.
I heard it got moved to
because it's
alumni
crazy.
section.
Nobody brought that up because they got all this noise in the background about him.
Yeah,
and I heard, and I didn't fact check it, that's part of the reason the Fox didn't renew their deal because WWE isn't playing their game anymore, and they want to see CM Punk back, and they said no.
What?
So yeah,
No.
that's one of the reports as to
why
Fox
did they
didn't
want him back? You had Roman.
Well, you got to think about. Remember when SmackDown first came? It was supposed to be a sports filler. It's more wrestling than sports. That's why they loaded it with so many other athletes in the beginning stages.
Sure,
and remember how they did with the draft? They tried to make it like to appeal to other sports fans. They give them that more crossover.
Right.
So even though WWE is lucrative in the eyes of Fox, they didn't bring the extra viewers. The numbers didn't do what they thought the numbers would do based upon the money that they gave them. So now when they go back to USA, they're going to look like a super, ratings draw because it's a different scale.
Sure,
scale.
Versus cable.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think CM Punk is the answer to anything.
No,
I honestly don't.
Stay
but
away.
I'm gonna say this: if he comes there, why? Like LA Knight could bury him, maybe. Roman could bury him, absolutely. Randy Orton could RKO him out of nowhere, yes. Drew could Claymore. It's so many things. I feel like everything that he would do would be in a burial state. Like, not we're going to elevate him. We have people that you've been elevating for the last year. We've been working towards these Mania moments. Sure. I think WrestleMania this year is going to have the most moments and most memorable things because we have these superstars that have been carving out things for themselves at the B pay-per-views, the C level pay-per-views, the big four. So when we get to Mania, the 2-night, and even for Stand and Deliver, is that the one that's going to be at WrestleMania?
Stand and Deliver?
Yeah. The NXT?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see things that will show when you have the superstar, you don't need the superstar yesteryear. And that's what CM Punk is. We don't need him. Do we need mega power there? Do we need something else? I think it's enough star power that, let's be honest, look at Crown Jewel's thing. That was the WrestleMania for Saudi Arabia.
It was, yeah.
If you think about it, that's their WrestleMania. So if they can produce that, look at Backlash. That was like a WrestleMania level for them. So now when you do a 2-night WrestleMania and you want to have impactful matches, like, we don't even care that we haven't seen the Intercontinental title on a pay-per-view in how long, but because we see it on Raw. We know we have a destination. Yeah. So bringing a CM Punk right now is going to kind of sour the taste of certain things that you're already building. Like, you keep fitting Logan Paul into certain spaces, he's not oversaturated. Bad Buddy, we want to see him. We want to see certain things. Do we really want to see Punk? No, we want the controversy that Punk comes along with him.
So that's my thing, brother. Yeah. Like, you talking real. You talking real.
I mean, that's my only thing. Like, I don't need the controversy because the wrestling business without it, because the whole thing, he comes back. Let's say he comes back in Chicago. The first thought is, how long is this going to last? We had the same thought about Edge. Oh, is he on backstage already? Oh, look, he's getting on Ricky. But now, are we even talking about Edge on this show? Do I even mention Adam Copeland?
No, because that's why they got to keep saying. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's nothing surrounding him. So you bring CM Punk back now. Royal Rumble, he comes and he botches something. Oh my God, but it's okay. It's CM Punk. He hasn't wrestled in so many years. Oh my God, it's okay because it's CM. No, stop making excuses. We don't need him. His time is over. He ruined his career.
No, go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead. No, but what's the but? No, what's the but?
I wanted to rebuttal.
I was going to say, but if you were going to bring him in, where would you slot him in?
He would have to.
Who's got to be the Rumble?
It's got to be. If you want to bring him in, it would have to be. Are you talking about for the Survivor Series or in general?
I'm talking about in general. If on your way up to WrestleMania, because
if he came to Survivor Series,
what's his match at WrestleMania?
LA Knight.
What's his match at Mania?
Yeah. I mean,
so
either way, he's still not getting the main event.
Yeah, if you know him, Cody and Roman, let's just say what it is, right? Because remember, I joked about just give us that fatal 4-way because everybody keep having this speculation. But If it's going to be Cody and Roman, Gunther and Seth, where does he fit? Because LA Knight and him, the promo battle is going to be the thing, but do we want to waste LA Knight's time on a CM Punk?
I don't think it'd be a waste of time. I think the draw.
But wait a minute, let me finish it.
Go ahead.
But you have an LA Knight that you can put him anywhere and build that moment somewhere else.
But where would you put it at? Like you it's like Brian, they said, we're trying to make these moments. So it don't gotta be like, you know what I mean? He's not there to have a 5-star match. Like
oh no, I'm not going. He's never going to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's there for the pump and circumstance, the start and the finish. So like you hear the music, you hear LA Knight, you have the fans fighting each other over who they want to cheer for because they're split, because they're happy seeing CM Punk because of CM Punk. And then you have a global audience like WrestleMania. So you're gonna have like, it's not like you're going somewhere where it's like all young folks. You know you're going to be there with all the old school wrestling fans of yesteryear. Hearing CM
classic fans.
And you know, like you said, people want to hear it. I want to hear CM Punk's theme music at WrestleMania just for the sake of sticking AEW. You know what I mean? And then you have LA Knight coming out and the fans are chilling. LA Knight, CM Punk going back and forth because they're two like anti-hero, trash talking, like, you know what I mean, guys, and it's just for the moment. Like, you know, the match is going to be with the matches. There you go. That's the cute. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that opens the show?
Yeah, I was saying that's the only way it will work. Day one. No, I said day one opening match is those two. That's the only way I would see it working. But I'm just like, but then I guess my story telling me the Monday after Raw, what do you do?
That's the Bruce Pritchard. He said the same thing. Now where do you go from here?
Yeah, like because LA Knight goes over, he has to, you know. But I don't know.
I don't think follow up Kevin Owens after Austin.
That was McMahon's fault though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was all.
McMahon was so freaking lazy. He invested that whole thing and made Kevin Owens look good, and then after that, he had him like we were like, dude, what is he doing? He's supposed to have all the money in the world.
Same thing, Baron Corbin. Remember Baron Corbin over Kurt Angle, and it was like, never mind. We just forgot about it.
Because Vince McMahon will book for the moment. He wants to give the fans a great show that night, and then it's like we'll figure it out later. He gonna sit on the plane for 6 hours and try to make it make sense now, and then force feed it. And the writers are like, bro, this doesn't make sense. They're like, oh, we're gonna make it make sense now. You're like,
nobody's gonna remember that. Nobody's gonna remember that.
You should have just left the moment alone. But no, listen, I agree with both your sentiments. It's crazy because it's such an interesting argument that you made. I didn't even think about it that way, one way or another, because on one hand, you're right. They really don't need him. And I don't really think that I'd be shocked if they brought him back. It's because it's like, well, for what reason? WWE's doing huge numbers, breaking records, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels are always on this youth movement kick. That's one thing that we noticed. They're constantly introducing new faces as much as possible.
But the last thing I'm going to say about this, Triple H hasn't had, and we know his creative reign has only been, let's say, a year. Let's just call it a year.
Sure.
He hasn't had controversy or some kind of scandal in his reign. And I know it's the first year. You introduce a CM Punk, that's going to open up a potential issue. You know, and I know we call it all out brawl, but he doesn't. The locker room is happy. The only time he was depressed or bad things came out about the locker room is when Vince was back to remotely changing things. He was doing this, you know, that's where the negative turmoil came. And we saw evidence. So if it wasn't true, we saw it when you stopped seeing a JD McDonough or Tegan Knox on Monday Night Raw. When you start seeing, you know, a long segment or a squash match or, you know, changing of this is what's advertised and this is what you get. So Triple H is checking off more things, right? Let him continue to do that because the TKO Power said, Vince, go sit down. Let him do this. We made money when he did this. Go sit down.
There you
go. So Vince McMahon, and was it you, Brian, that said CM Punk would be the equivalent to like Warrior coming back or something? It was like it would be Triple H's. You made a comparison. I was like, damn, that is true. Like you said something about
this. I think it was Bruno.
It's Bruno. That's what it was. And I was like, that's the only way I see it working. When you said it that way, I was like, dang, so it's going to happen. I think it will happen. I don't know if it's the right timing.
Brother Hugh, let's play devil's advocate a little bit. It's because everything you're saying, once again, it makes sense. But then there's another side to it that we really haven't addressed. What if CM Punk is finally settled down? Like, okay, I've seen what life is like away from it, WWE and another company. And WWE seems like paradise can play to this place. And this is my last shot. I'm getting older. I can have a loyalty run where I can wrestle a little bit and still make a lot of money. I can get me a nice Legends deal, get merchandise, and I can get my name back in the halls of this guy was one of our top guys and have a right attitude. It's because I did hear that he was a positive influence on a lot of the young talent backstage. He just didn't like the fact that it didn't have any structure. He didn't like the fact that he wasn't respected as a vet. It's because they have no vets backstage. It's like an indie show. You know what I mean? What if he realizes, you know what? I don't need to come here acting a fool. My time is up. I just want to come and have a CM Punk run. Just show my face every once in a while, have a good match every once in a while, get all the merchandise, get all the action figures, and then get a chance to work with young talent, because that's something he was an advocate for. Even before he left in 2012, he was the first WWE champion to go down to NXT, working with Seth Rollins. They were tagging with each other. He would do promos with him. He was an advocate for what Triple H is doing right now, even though he said your idiotic son-in-law is going to be running this place even when you're done. But at the end of the day, Triple H's version of WWE is the vision that CM Punk had. Maybe this is what he's been waiting for. I don't know. Is he that stubborn that he would mess it up that much more? Or is it possible that this brother could have had a change of heart and said, you know what? I was away. I see how bad this place how things can really be. And compared to this, WWE's not so bad, especially now with Triple H in charge. Is it possible? He's getting older. He's been in trouble. Like,
anything is possible, but
don't give me the wrestling thing. Never say never.
I understand it if he does come back with that type of attitude. There's a couple of matches I would like to see. You know, him, Seth, maybe him, and if he's going to work with some of the younger stars, maybe an Austin Theory or Grayson Waller, somebody like that. But to be honest, overall, I don't care. I don't really want to see him at all. To be honest.
I like CM Punk, but I could do without him. I'm with you. Look, I like CM Punk, but I can do without him.
What Brandon was saying, where are you going to slot him in? Like, it's just too much going on right now. We have too much talent, or you have too much talent going like they're already building themselves. So it's like it's just nowhere for him to be. It's too much. He's going to end up being a new Edge.
Yeah, and then he'll probably start getting pissy when he doesn't get what he wants. But the difference between him and Edge, brother Hugh, is he has nowhere to go because he's already been there. See, Edge has never been anywhere outside of WWE. So now he's like, I just want to go see what it's like and have fun with my buddy Jay and tag with Sting. Chris is like, man, I've been there, done that already. I didn't have matches with Sting, I didn't tag with Sting. Edge has a bucket list of stuff he wants to do because he hadn't done it. CM Punk has done it already. He's been there, he's left, he went back, he came back again. And like it's kind of like Rey Mysterio's run when he's like, all right, I'm leaving. They booed me. I've never been booed before. Left for a couple of years and said, now I don't need to be the guy anymore. I want to come back and celebrate being a legend. And they treated him that way though, right? Like when he came back, by the time he came back after his latest indie run, he's been treated like a legend. Like he did, like you're a Hall of Famer, but you're a working Hall of Famer. You don't have to be on TV every week. You don't got to be in every mate. Just you kind of, and then he got a United States Championship run. You know what I mean? One last run. Like to me, he's having one of the best end of careers I've ever seen, as far as longevity is concerned, because he's been a good
send off.
He really is though. How many people have had that? Like even John Cena and them haven't had it because they're in and they're out, they're in and out, they're in and out. And it's like Rey Mysterio's having a good run. He's working with young guys. He's had a program with his son. He's had a title reign. I'm like, dude, this is what Kurt Angle, this is what all the other dudes wish they could have had. But like, I don't know if CM Punk going to be able to behave himself. Punk versus Rando. I don't think
there's more structure in WWE. Yeah, there's more structure in WWE. He wouldn't be able to run amok, but I feel like we're going to be waiting for that next. CM Punk doesn't like his creative.
I mean,
he don't like his creative.
That's also true, bro. He always finds a way to mess it up.
Yep, it doesn't benefit him. And like, there's got to be some truth behind that Triple H and him promo, especially when he said what's going to be worse is that his bonehead son-in-law is going to be running the company. I knew where we are today.
But then also, Brian, you was about to say something. I want to catch you before you leave us. Brian is fading over there. No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I was about to say, burning the midnight oil. I was about to say, dang it, I lost my train of thought. But what I was talking about was CM Punk working with like a Randy Orton versus working with the young talent, or CM Punk not being kind of happy with career. And you were saying there was some truth to what he said about like, oh yeah, this place is never going to change because even if Vince McMahon dies, the idiotic son-in-law, daughter and son-in-law are going to take over. But it's like And then the moment when Triple H cut the promo on CM Punk, and he said what he said about him, and Triple H kind of looked to the side, he kind of like smirked, and then he just read him his rights and told him his like, oh yeah, and then that was the promo. And I was like, yeah, there's some truth to that. But Triple H was right, like, oh, you're one of those guys. You just wanted to be about you all the time. You don't care about all this other stuff you're saying. You don't care about change. You just want to be the guy. You're only okay with change unless that means you're at the top. And I was like, oof. And then he just kind of went on like, if you want to do something about it, get your skinny fat tail and bust your tail to become the best. Like he's like, the difference between me and you is I stepped over everybody, but I did it to their faces. You go and you sneak behind people's back and try to manipulate people. And I'm like, that is kind of his reputation. And he did the same thing. I don't know, man. We spent a long time talking about this, man. And TJ Legacy Cole says his 2 cents is Punk should actually come back as Vince McMahon's guy. Imagine him as the guy to criticize everything Triple H is doing during the new changes. Basically, that he told that before the I told you so after his iconic promo. That sounds very McMahonish as far as storyline gimmicks are concerned. You know what I mean? But it's an interesting take, though. Like I didn't think we would take this long talking about CM Punk, but goodness gracious, it was a good conversation, good brothers.
Yeah.
And he's yeah, okay, LA Knight, I hear you, baby.
No, my bad.
No, it's all right. It's up. We gotta wrap this up, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we're losing Brian H, man. It's been a long day. The brother works hard. Crown Jewel, Survivor Series up next. Good brothers. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys do an excellent job. You always got create thought-provoking conversations and spaces for us to continue to push the envelope and just get people to kind of think past what they already do, man. So this is definitely appreciate you brothers. For everybody that stuck with us tonight, shout out to Dylan Matthews, TJ Lexi Cole, Mighty Vin.
Happy birthday, Dylan.
Happy birthday, Dylan, once again, brother. It's still here with us.
Happy birthday, bro.
But follow us on all social media platforms at Wrestling Wrealm. Subscribe to our Patreon channel, Twitch, YouTube at The Wrestling Wrealm, youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm, Championship Culture Playlist, WrestlingWrealm.com, Patreon.com/Wrestling_Wrealm, so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you next week. Same bad time, same bad place. The Wrestling Wrealm has to get out of here. It's late. We got things to do. We appreciate you hanging with us. We out. Peace.
Mr.